Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Retry Radio. This is episode 2 of the show, but real quick, next week's episode also claims to be episode 2, but it is not, because we're recording stuff out of order for good reasons. Today's episode, we are talking all about Pokemon, because just this entire week was just freaking Pokemania. It was ridiculous. Today, I'm joined by Dennis.
Hi.
And Ryan.
How's it going?
Is going great. You're new to the show, and I know this is only episode 2, so everybody's kind of new. But next week's episode will actually feature me and Dennis doing more of like a personal introduction of ourselves and our favorite games of all time. So Ryan, real quick, give us, what is your number one favorite video game of all time?
Well, fittingly, it's Kingdom Hearts. I'm not going to narrow it down to one game and just say it's the entire series.
No. What
That's
is your
illegal.
favorite game?
What are you talking
That's illegal.
about?
No.
You
It's
can't.
I can't. I'm not narrowing it down. I mean,
You can't, but you will. You will, goddammit, right here and now.
Well,
What is it, Ryan?
I need some more time to absorb Kingdom Hearts 3 before I give my final opinion. But right now, it's still the first game.
Okay. That's my favorite in the franchise for sure. Kingdom Hearts 3, loved it, but there's bits and pieces that I don't love. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. Today, we're talking all about Pokemon. We had a brand new trailer for Detective Pikachu drop, which is just like absurdly good. And we also had a Pokemon Direct come out of the blue a week later from another Nintendo Direct featuring the announcement of Pokemon Sword and Shield and its starters. And so first, we wanted to talk to you guys about that Detective Pikachu trailer, and then we'll talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield later. First off, did you guys, of course, watch the first Detective Pikachu trailer, and it was goddamn mind-blowing? Yeah. What is your impression of this new trailer?
I'm so excited for this movie. Like, I keep being surprised by how they're doing everything right. Like, there's so much love for the franchise on display. All the realistic designs are obviously like controversial, but I think they're good enough. And Jesus, getting calls all the time.
Dude, I love the Pokemon theme song. That was so good.
It's not Pokemon. I really love that it's not just the first generation of Pokemon. Like, there are so many, like, if you only know the first generation, like, there are so many obscure ass Pokemon in this movie.
I can attest to that, but it did not like harm or deter me from wanting to see the shit out of this movie. Like, because that weird duck thing behind the bar getting Pikachu's coffee, I was just like, what the fuck was that? But man, I am in.
In a year
so
where the culmination of the MCU is coming to a close, a Pokemon movie should not be my most anticipated movie of the year. Like, it just shouldn't happen. Like,
it doesn't make sense. Like, what really got me about this trailer is, like, it's, again, like, setting the tone for this movie, and I like how they switch perspectives to Pikachu rather than the kid like they did mostly in the first trailer. Everything, you're getting more like actual plot points, more of the freaking world, which is gorgeous. The damn character designs are just, like you said, Dennis, they're just knocking out of the park, controversial or not. Like, they're doing something extremely different, and it looks so goddamn good. Like, this movie shouldn't be this good. Detective Pikachu isn't that good of a game. It's okay. It's all right, but, like, this movie is literally going to, like, change the game for video game movies, I feel like, because they're taking something, an idea, a concept from a game, and they're just flipping it on its head and making a real fucking living world of Pokemon and creating a brand new story. Like, this is how video game movies should do it. Like, they shouldn't, like, tie themselves too much to the game. Like, take a concept, an idea of the game, a world that's fun to live in, and just make it into a beautiful, gorgeous-ass movie.
That's what's crazy is, like, this is going to be, like, the first successful video game movie. Like, you can tell already. Like,
not just successful, I think it's going to be the first good video game movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm so stoked. They had the freak. Okay, they pulled out the big guns with Mewtwo. That character design is so damn good. Like, I didn't expect it. I don't know what the hell they're doing with that storyline. Mewtwo being like a huge, big point in the Pokemon franchise, almost in any game or story of it. Man, he's always just. I don't know how to explain it, but he's like. He's I like from Kind of Funny's thing. I'm a steal their thing. He's like the Thanos of the Pokemon universe.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's the end game. But man, I'm so stoked for this movie. What is the release date? I don't even remember.
It's May 20th somewhere.
Like it is coming up, man.
I want to say it's the 23rd, but I'm not 100% on that. With the Mewtwo thing though, it. Like, as exciting as that was, it almost feels too soon. Like, you know that this is a thing that they're going to be like, this isn't something that's going to be going away. They're already talking about doing, like, sequels and spinoffs and stuff like that. So, it like, as awesome as it is, there's also that double-edged sort of, like, is it just way too quick? Like, and it's a little too ambitious.
I don't think it is too quick. It's just, like, there are so many Pokemon. So many Pokemon.
There's so many, like I said, he's like the end game, but there are also like now Pokemon gods and like so many different legendary Pokemon. And we don't really know the context and the amount that he's in it. Like it could just be a setup for a future movie.
That's true.
For all we know, honestly. Dude, I would love so much. Like, just imagine the movie in some way, like hinting at either Red or like Ash towards the end, or maybe like a post-credit scene, and then we get like almost a remake of freaking the original Pokemon movie, like the Mewtwo storyline, basically. I would go so many ways.
I would love to see after this movie, because let's be honest, like they're going to make a Marvel Cinematic Universe out of this.
Yeah,
and I am all in on that. What I really want to see is just a traditional Pokemon storyline adapted into a Western movie. Like the trainer getting his or her first Pokemon and going through all the 8 gyms and battling the Pokemon League.
Do you think that there's a character in this movie, this girl with the Psyduck? Do you think we're gonna, like how you're saying this, a more traditional thing? Do you think we're gonna see the character that this whole cinematic universe revolves around? Maybe isn't the main character of this movie, but like a side character that kind of takes over. Because I've been kind of curious, like who that character is, where she falls in. Because I could easily see them doing something like that, where this movie focuses on this guy, Detective Pikachu, but then it's almost like the other movie will spin off and just kind of, we're going to meet some characters that are going to carry their movies like that.
I don't think so. The girl character in the movie is a character from the game. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Something I was curious about was, so when they do these spin-offs, should they keep the Pokemon, the starter Pokemon, whatever, if they do the traditional storyline or whatever, should they keep the starter Pokemon to be able to talk? Because I feel like that's a key element of this movie, and why it's going to be so successful is Ryan Reynolds being able to talk and stuff.
I don't think so. I think in like Detective Pikachu is a unique character that just happens to be able to talk. And like same with Meowth. Meowth from Team Rocket is also able to talk. But that is a unique trait. And I think the fact that they are showing that with like all the other Pokemon not being able to talk, then right. I think they're going to keep it that way. And I hope they do, because there is like, if you watch the anime of like Ash and Pikachu, like, you don't have to hear Pikachu talk. You right. can understand what Pikachu is saying just by the way he says Pikachu and like the different like ways he says his name and like stuff like that. It's just it's it's enough to understand what he thinks.
Yeah. I
By the
definitely
way,
don't see them doing that. What's up?
I was thinking, have you heard Pokemon say their name in the movie? Like, is that a thing they're doing in this universe?
I know Pikachu was saying Pika Pika to that lady, like trying to talk and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that black coffee duck serving thing
it said
had
its
said.
name.
I wasn't sure what he was, so all I heard was like, like I was like, oh, I guess that's his name.
Yeah, because like all I'm thinking about right now is like Charizard, and I know he's not like saying Charizard, but he's like growling more.
He's growling and stuff. I imagine they do, but I mean, maybe not. Maybe some of them do. Maybe some of them don't. Another awesome thing about this movie is just its like tone. Like it's very unique for Pokemon because it has a very like dark grittiness to it, but not in like a like murderous like stabbing people and killing stuff. But like it has like a Ninja Turtles from the 90s movie vibe to it, where it's like even the designs themselves just feel more real and grounded, and like even Pikachu himself says the word hell, and that's like that's crazy for Pokemon, and it's so good. Like Ryan Reynolds is the perfect cast for this. Like people were all in the Danny DeVito train, and I'm just like, y'all are wrong, man. Ryan Reynolds is perfect for this.
Ryan Reynolds is fucking perfect for this.
Absolutely. We were actually talking about before we started recording about like some sort of Deadpool reference, and we started speculating on like, is Ryan Reynolds as like a human character gonna be in this movie? Because I would just love like a scene where Pikachu's just down in the dumps and like Ryan just like, hey bud, what's up?
I feel like it's more than likely going to be the reverse of that, though, is that there's going to be a Pikachu reference in the next Deadpool movie, though. I feel like that's...
I mean, absolutely.
That is definitely happening, like 100%. But it would be funnier. God,
man, there's probably going to be multiple. Everything in Deadpool 3, he's going to wear fucking Pikachu watch instead of Adventure Time. He's gonna have a Pikachu loofah he's going to shower naked with. It's going to be great. I can't wait. But we should probably move on to the biggest news. I mean, to be completely honest, I'm more hyped for this Pokemon movie than anything right now. But we had a Nintendo Direct drop. Was that yesterday? The day before yesterday? What day was that?
It was Tuesday.
What was the date on that? Tuesday.
Doesn't matter.
That was
26th.
That was yesterday.
The Pokemon Direct. It doesn't matter. The Pokemon Direct dropped, and they showed us Pokemon Shield and Sword. It's in a brand new region called the Galar region.
Yes.
Galar region?
Galar.
Yep. And they showed us the world. It looks HD, beautiful, gorgeous. They showed us that it's going to be a fixed camera. They showed us there's a male and female trainer. They also showed the 3 new starters, which we'll talk about in a minute. The setting looks to be in the UK, or inspired by the UK. Yeah. Pokemon games usually are inspired by real locations. And it's like kind of got this like industrial feel to it. There's weather effects. There's like snow and stuff. There's mountains. There's like mines. There's caves. It looks like everything's returning, but with just like this extra polish sheen. Stuff that we haven't really seen a core Pokemon in HD. Like we've seen the Let's Go games, but that was just, a remake. This is the first time we're seeing a Pokemon from the ground up in HD.
I wouldn't call this from the ground up, actually. This looks a lot like the Sun and Moon engine. It's just in high resolution. Yeah.
I just mean it was designed to be on an HD system. Like I know Pokemon like future-proofs most of their stuff in high resolution stuff, and they mostly swap and change resolutions and all that. But this is the first time we've seen a core Pokemon on a console. First off, like that's huge already, and the world looks cool to me. I'm excited. They played it very safe with this announcement, I feel like, but it is exactly what the core hardcore Pokemon fans have been asking for, I feel like anyway. What do you guys think about it?
I mean, seeing the game was very exciting. My biggest disappointment is that they don't have the dynamic world of Let's Go.
Hmm.
Um, and they've instead chosen to go back to the random encounters. But other than that, I think the world looks really cool. I really like the design of how like it's like part modern, part industrial London
Hmm.
in its design, and yeah, I think the new starters looked really good. I like the name of the games. The logos look really cool. Um, and yeah, the playable characters look really nice. I like that the NPCs are really expressive. Um, Other concerns that I have is that they're going to keep a little bit too much assets from the 3DS version. Like there
Hmm.
are some points where you can hear some sound effects from the game in the trailer, and they sound very 3DS.
Do you
Not
mean
very
like the
high quality.
Pokemon? Do you mean like the Pokemon sounds,
Like
like
the
the
attacks,
the eight
like you
bit? Oh,
can,
okay.
yeah, the attacks
I
sound
see what you mean.
really like sounds like they just were the bass was like absent. Um,
Yeah.
I
and
imagine those were probably just ported for that particular trailer. They're probably not done with all of that yet.
Possible. I hope so, at least. And then, yeah, I think the models of the Pokemon are starting to look a little bit dated at this point. I don't know if that was the case for you guys, but like as someone who's seen them in Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon Sun and Moon, Pokemon Go, and now and Pokemon Let's Go, and now this game, like they're starting to get a little bit old, and I wish they would update them and make them a little bit more HD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like in terms of like the way it's different, but not really from the core series of what they've been doing normally. Um, it just the fixed camera I feel like would go a long way in to not make it giving it that more open world feel. If it was just like an over the shoulder camera and you could change where you're looking and stuff like that, I feel like it would add a lot more to just refreshing how the game feels. And that
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
like maybe just adding movement to the battle system, like to where it's not just turn based RPG, like constantly. I don't know. I was a little underwhelmed from the trailer, uh, mostly just because it feels rehashy. Um, but at the same time, I'm still excited for another Pokemon game.
Yeah. What is I guess we should talk about maybe our history with the franchise. I started with Gen 1, of course. Huge, like Japan brainwashed us as a kid, man. Like it was my life, I swear to God. And it makes like I'm a huge animal lover already, so I feel like that dives deep with me that this is friendship with animals and but it's like fighting them. Anyway, Gen 1 was where I lived, breathed, slept, and ate Pokemon. Like, dude, it was my life as a child. And I don't know exactly what the turning point was. I did play through Gold. I mean, Red, Blue, and Yellow. I had all three. I played constantly. I was in love with the anime. I played through Gold as a kid and liked it, but I just completely fell off after that. I didn't get back into the franchise basically until Pokemon Go, like as an adult. I did play through part of Sun, which has an issue with that I'm going to talk about in a minute. I did play through part of that, and I'm back in the franchise, but I've missed so freaking much. And it's just seeing these games has me extremely intrigued because I'm back in, but there's so much that I missed out that everything kind of feels and looks new to me because I haven't really been on the franchise wagon for so long that this looks like a huge step for me, but I can understand because I'm not blind to it. I know Pokemon is this humongous franchise. I've seen the iterations. I've watched people play some of the games, and I can see why people would say that it's just meh, more of the same, this or that. But I feel like we don't have enough information yet as well because they even say in the direct, like, man, we're excited to try out these different things. It's just from a glance at what they showed us, it does look very repetitive to the Pokemon formula. It just feels very safe. That's the only thing I have to say. What is your like history with Pokemon, Dennis?
I played it since I was a kid. I first got Pokemon Red, then I got Pokemon Silver, then Ruby, and Emerald, and Diamond, and Platinum, and then I actually skipped Black and White and Black and White 2. I didn't end up playing White until I think like just before X and Y came out, and then I got both X and Y, and then I got Sun and Moon, and then I skipped Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and then I played Let's Go Pikachu.
So you're like borderline hardcore Pokemon. Like you've played almost every iteration of it.
Yeah.
And like, what does this one like set the hype in? Like, is this what you're looking for in a Pokemon game?
It is not what I'm looking for. I want them to completely reimagine the franchise, but
Right.
I am definitely open to playing this one as well. Like, even though I really want them to change things up and like reimagine it, I still like the regular Pokemon game, but like it's not gonna excite me like over the moon, you know.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be like an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. Ryan, what's your history?
I'm more on your speed. I started with blue and then yellow, and then worked my way all the way up till like Ruby and Sapphire, and then kind of fell off. And the Digimon train came in and swept me away from Pokemon for a little while.
Get out of here with that bullshit knockoff wannabe garbage. I'm kidding. I've never been a Digimon person.
I jumped back into it around X and Y. I always liked the anime and stuff, and like I followed what they were doing with the series, but didn't really play Black or White or the Emerald, Diamond stuff. But I played Pokemon Y, and then I've played all the series since. I didn't really get into Sun and Moon too much because they took away the gym system, and as much as I don't like rehashing, I like the gyms are my favorite part of the series.
Mm-hmm.
So they made changes, but the wrong changes for you.
Right.
Yeah.
That sucks.
The trials that they put into Sun and Moon were enjoyable, but they were worse than gyms in my opinion. Yeah. They were there to one of the things that like I think there was one on Game Explain who like put it best. Like the trials in Sun and Moon were there to like break up the monotony and like make it a little bit more less formulaic, but they ended up being more formulaic.
Yeah. Okay, so let me tell you what, guys. The one thing that I am so excited about this coming to the Switch, and this is my biggest issue with some of the older Pokemon games, Sun in particular, like so many generations of Pokemon, and they couldn't give you multiple save files on one game.
That's how they get you to buy two.
That's how they get you to buy two. I know, but man, let me tell you what. I was so in on Sun. Like, I don't remember if Sun came out before Pokemon Go or around the same time. But
it was like months after Go.
Yeah. Okay. So like that's what got me. Like it's crazy to think about Pokemon Go at all because that was just a phenomenon. Like that. It re-sparked this love that I had for so long and lost of Pokemon. Like, yeah, I was just like instantly back in. I was just like, this is what I want. They got me with the Gen 1 stuff. Like, I'm a huge Gen 1 Pokemon nerd. I live and die that generation of Pokemon. But I'm more open-minded to the new ones since I played Sun and whatnot. But, like, I played through probably like 12, 15 hours of Sun, and I was just like, man, this is fucking it. This is great. And then my daughter, of course, being a huge Pokemon fan, she's like, man, that game looks pretty good. Wish I could play that too. And I was like, I can't say no. So I just let her play it. Never went back to it because, of course, she was 120 hours in, like, Dad, check this out. This is the end. I was like, yeah, sure wish I was playing that, but she didn't have the same remorse that I had. So I never beat it. But, like, the fact that, man, this is on a new console, there's no way they'll block you from one, save file, right? Because, you have the different users and stuff.
Only had one save file, right?
Exactly. Like, you can just make different users and make a separate save file.
That change alone is like, this is the best Pokemon game of all time, right there. That change alone. Man, just the modern console thing has me just so excited. I'll be able to play a Pokemon game on the big TV, multiple save files. Let's fucking go. No pun intended. So the release of these trailers was kind of interesting to me. They showed the world first, and then they showed like this really cool HD reveal trailer of the starters. I really liked the trailer for this. This was really cool. The way that they kind of introduced the characters chronologically, almost making like a cute little story out of it. They start off with this Sonic the Hedgehog ripoff looking rabbit bunny. He's like, gotta go fast, and he's like lighting the grass on fire. Then you see this little adorable, anxious water lizard thing spitting water, putting out the fire. Then he's just like, oh, my anxiety, there's somebody here. He runs away. The grass is growing, and they show this freaking weird monkey ape thing, and he's like growing grass. Man, it was great. He's beating up on a rock, dude. It was my favorite thing in the direct. We have Grookey is the weird monkey. Score Bunny is the Sonic the Hedgehog ripoff, and the best of all of them, Sobble. Let me tell you what, guys, Sobble. I don't know if they've done, because I've missed out on 800,000 Pokemon. Have they ever done like a Pokemon with this type of emotion? Just this like really kind of sad Charlie Brown, anxious little cute thing. Have they done this before that you guys know?
Dude, let me tell you about this Pokemon named Yamask.
Okay.
This is a Pokemon. If you read its Pokedex entry, it's from Generation 5. It literally says the mask that it holds onto is the face of when it was alive.
Oh, shit.
It's literally a
Dude,
dead
Pokemon
person.
gets dark, man. It's like Cubone wearing his mom's fucking skull. Like, it's crazy. Pokemon gets out there. But fun. I've always been like a fire Pokemon. Like when you have the starters, it's like Cyndaquil, Charmander. I'm pretty sure a bunch of other ones, and then Litten. They were my homies. They convinced me that Sobble is my spirit animal, dude. This little dude is so cool, man. I love that he's just like, oh man, I guess I'll put out this fire. And then you could just see the anxiety in his eyes. It's so good. Just sorrowful, depressing. God, I love it. I just want to hug him. That's my pick.
My pick is Score Bunny. And I am so happy to say that because I've always been on Team Fire.
Man, I'm jumping ship.
Except for Generation 6 and 7. In Generation 1, I picked Charmander. 2, I picked Cyndaquil. In 3, I picked Torchic. In 4, I picked Chimchar. In 5, I picked whatever that one. I don't remember the name of it. Tepig, right. 6, I did not pick Fennekin, which was the fire one. Instead, I picked Chespin because Chespin was like way more adorable. And then I ended up being fucked anyway because his third evolution is fucking horrible. It's like
it's really bad.
It's void of creativity.
So
It's
bad.
just so ugly. But so are like most of the third evolutions in that generation. Greninja is like the only cool one.
Yeah, Greninja's bad.
And then for 7, I picked Rowlet because Rowlet just beats everything.
Dude, I was so disappointed with Gen 7's final evolutions because Litten and whatever it turns into next, I was like, this is awesome. And then he just turns into this buff bro, like this wrestler dude in Incineroar. I'm just like, what the fuck are y'all smoking, man?
Yeah, like,
come on.
Generation 7 had a wrestler, an edgy hooded ninja
They made
arrow
Green
guy.
Arrow a Pokemon. Like what else could you want? Like
and then the water one is just literally a woman in like what's it called, like a fuck, what's the name? The woman in the water. What's the fuck name of it?
Ariel, the Little Mermaid.
Mermaid, right? Like it's just a woman in a mermaid's costume.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah. Like it's just literally a mermaid, and I'm like, this is like you're like pandering to an audience that you shouldn't be pandering to. Pokemon.
It sure is. I don't remember what it looks like, but I can see it in my head.
The last generation of starters were terrible.
What team are you on this time around?
Probably Score Bunny. I have to see the evolutions before I make an actual choice.
Real quick, can I just say, like, poor grass types, man. They never get picked, dude.
Dude,
aside from Dennis picking Rowlet.
I picked 2 grass types the last 2 generations: Chespin and Rowlet.
See, well,
like
I've kind of like bounced back and forth throughout the series because, like, I don't know, I didn't really care for Torchic, so I always picked Mudkip. And then, like, I really like Trico and Snivy, I think is his name.
Yeah.
So I've usually played multiple runs just to try to try out each starter. So I don't really have a particular team.
That's cool about Pokemon is it has its difficulty system built in very secretively. That like the starter that you begin with very much depicts how difficult your journey is going to be.
Yeah. Because usually the grass starter is your best bet like early on anyway because there's always a rock gym and then a water gym. And like you had type advantage for both of the first 2 areas typically.
Right.
But that's like
Pokemon Yellow was horrible.
that was the thing, like they only really did that in the first game. Like ever since they just like, yeah, whatever. We're just gonna pick different typings.
Yeah. So we got our starters, then they showed, more of the world. They say that they're going to be mixing it up. They say they're going to be doing some new stuff. What are some new things that you guys want them to do? Now that we know, like, the expectations are set, we're not getting the Breath of the Wild as people keep asking for. It is your core Pokemon game. What are some changes that you think are realistic to ask for at this point?
There's one thing I want, and there's the only thing I'm asking for in Game Freak. Please fucking do this. The Galar region is based on the UK. The UK is very close to France, which also has a Pokemon region based on it, which is Kalos from Gen 6. Please, for the love of God, do the Kanto Johto thing again. Please. Yeah. Please, just let me go back to Kalos. And, like, go through essentially another game. Like, 8 more gyms, like have reprisals of characters from that game and like show us how the region has evolved, how like there's probably one of the gym leaders who's like a Pokemon champion now or whatever. Like just do it, please. Yep. Like just have a fucking fairy or something that just lets you go over to Kalos and let me explore that region again, please. Thank you. I'm not gonna talk anymore.
Ryan, what are some things that you kind of could see realistically happen that you would be stoked for?
So I was watching the kind of funny reactions to it this morning, and they were talking about 2 guys that like predicted Sword and Shield, and I don't know if y'all want to talk about like what the other stuff they predicted, but they were talking about some stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Talk away.
Is Armored Evolutions is going to be a thing in this series. Like they, along with their predictions for Pokemon Sword and Shield, that was one of the things that they said was leaked, quote unquote. So apparently they're going to add armor, which is a complete ripoff of Digimon, but I'm okay with that.
Looks like the turns have tabled.
But like, why? There's already Mega Evolution.
But see, like the Mega Evolutions don't really do it for me. I thought those were kind of lame, to be honest. The Armored Evolutions, it's a chance at a rewrite, I guess. It could be something different, something cool. It's just a different spin on a game that, once again, just kind of feels rehashy.
Would this not just replace Mega Evolutions, or would you still have both?
I think you'd have both. But
so you'd have an armored Mega Evolution? God damn.
No, I mean, I doubt you'd have both.
I just
The
feel
only
like
thing
that
they're
would be
missing to
confusing.
completely rip off Digimon is fusions, and I feel like we're only a couple years out from Pokemon fusions.
Oh God. Yeah, I don't know about that. Because like I said, I'm a lapsed fan. I was out before they started all that crazy stuff. What exactly does it do to change the game? Like, is it just
Mega
like,
Evolution?
yeah,
Yeah, so a Mega Evolution is like a temporary stage of evolution that some final stage Pokemon have. So, for example, Charizard has a Mega Evolution. He, in fact, has two. Um, so what you do is you give your Charizard a stone called a Charizardite, and if you let them hold that item while you have a Mega Stone, then during battle you can have Mega Evolve, and when he Mega Evolves, he like some things changes about the Pokemon, some stats change, and one of the really interesting things too is the types can change, which can change a battle entirely. For example, like Mega Charizard X is a fire dragon, not a fire flying. So let's say you are playing as you're using your Charizard and you're facing an electric type, and you're like, oh, I'm a flying type, I'm weak to electric type Pokemon. I can use my Mega Evolution, and suddenly I'm not weak to electric types anymore. So that's like
real
one of the
quick.
ways you can use that.
I've seen the designs. Which one is that? Is that the orange or the black one?
The black one is X,
Okay.
and the orange as well.
Gotcha.
But yeah, then Venusaur and Blastoise also have Mega Evolutions. I really like Venusaur's Mega Evolution, actually. Blastoise is also really dope. Like, his two cannons just turn into a massive cannon, and then he has two cannons on his arms. Mewtwo also have two Mega Evolutions. And then there are plenty of Pokemon throughout the series that have Mega Evolutions.
It's like a basically Dragon Ball Z, like they're going Super Saiyan kind of.
Yeah,
like
it's just over the top powering up and stuff for the big boys. Yeah.
Then there is the even more epic one, which is the Z moves.
See, I've seen those from like Pokemon Sun, and it's all confusing to me because I've heard of the Mega Evolutions, and then you have these weird crystals, and then you can just make wrestlers spawn a wrestling ring out of nowhere, and it just gets really dumb.
I love how like in Generation 6 you had the Mega Stone, you had to have the like Mega Bracelet or whatever, and then in Generation 7 you had the C Ring and you need to wear that thing. I feel like in like 4 generations from now people are just gonna wear like 10 bracelets. It's like what am I gonna do with all of this?
Okay, so one thing, this is kind of maybe, I don't know if it's confirmed or not from this. One thing that I would really like is more customizable characters and maybe even Pokemon, because one thing that I liked about Let's Go is like the hairstyles and stuff. Don't make them so stupid looking, but like let us like dress up our Pokemon.
That's been a staple of the series since X and Y, so it's definitely
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I don't know. Like, I know the characters have customization, but I really would like them to let you dive deep and really create like a better character creation tool would be really cool to me. I mean, they didn't really confirm or deny, what all that's going to entail and stuff. Like, I know at one point your character's going out to the big ass stadium and he's in a completely different outfit. I don't know if that's just for competition's sake or what. That's just kind of something that I think would be cool, just to personalize and make it more of your own story type of deal, because I don't know, I think that would be awesome. I like the character designs that they have. I would just like to be able to kind of make it your own. And they have like dabbled with that, but never went full in, I feel like. But
what I would really like to see in terms of character customization is I want to have a fairly in-depth character customizing thing before the game even starts, because I've like in both X and Y and Sun and Moon, I didn't feel like any of them really fit me personally. I feel like it was like, if you wanted to, like I'm like, yeah, a white dude, you know, like, but if
Yeah.
like the white dude that you could pick, like he was blonde, like I'm not blonde, so I had to, so I like,
Yeah.
I had to like either be darker skinned than I am or be blonde, and like there was no choice that was like perfect for me, so I had to like start picking one and then like play the game until I get to a point where I can do like more detailed customization, and then I could like dye my hair, change my hair and my eye color and stuff like that. So I really want like a character customization screen at the beginning of the game where I can pick exactly how I want to look, and I also want just a larger selection of clothing, because it is so boring, especially if you're playing as the guy character. The selection of clothing is just nothing at all, and I feel like I'm probably gonna just play as the girl this time, because they have way more interesting and fun clothing to wear than the guys do.
Yeah, totally. So they did actually answer some questions. I feel like they sat down in this direct. They're like, we've got to get some information out there. We got to tell the people that this is a new generation, obviously. This is a brand new location. There are new Pokemon. Old Pokemon are returning. This isn't all new Pokemon. So the first thing that they show is a battle catching Pikachu. That's another thing, is they show you battling to catch him. Exactly. They show that you find him in the grass. They actually did set all the expectations where they needed to. I think that was really smart of them to get ahead of it, because otherwise we'd have been like, man, are we going to see the Pokemon in the overworld like in Let's Go? Is this going to be all new Pokemon? Is there a bunch of new Pokemon? I'm curious, like, how many new ones there are. Like, how many in the past games do they usually add, like, in these new locations, regions? Like,
so,
is it...
it's different from game to game. Like, every game except for Black and White had old Pokemon return. Black and White was an entirely new cast of Pokemon, and that was like 150, and that's the highest like added count that they've ever had. Usually they add from like 60 to 80 Pokemon.
Yeah.
And they usually have like a standard cast of about 250. So like if you were to say like 80 new Pokemon and then like about 150 old ones.
Gotcha. Man, that's exciting to me, because like I said, I've missed out so much. Like, I'm just kind of I'm anxious, like, to be overwhelmed by so many new ones, because like I just imagine that half the time I'm gonna be like, who the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? But that kind of excites me in a way, because like I said, they re-sparked this love, and I just do want to just dive in and meet some new buddy friends, good old guys, you know.
I'm eager to see what inanimate objects they turn into Pokemon this go around.
I mean, it's the UK. It's gonna be a teacup.
I really hope they make a Nintendo Switch Pokemon, like. Not a Pokemon, I'm sorry. Like, you know how they turned the Pokedex into some weird Pokemon?
Oh, yeah, if the Switch is the Pokedex or something?
Something like that. Awesome. Kind of like people want this to be Breath of the Wild. Well, we'll give you a Sheikah slate, bitch. But, like, I think that would be neat. I don't remember the Pokemon that lives inside of that thing, but I think that'd be neat if they did some sort of twist where it's the Switch. Yeah, that's it. Some more interesting stuff. The logos you were talking about earlier, the sword and shield at the very tops. They got wolves. Usually that would indicate the legendary Pokemon they're teasing at. I would imagine, right? They're going to be.
So along with the armored leaks, the people that like guessed Sword and Shield also guessed or not guessed, but reported what the legendaries were going to be. And apparently it's supposed to be a Pegasus and
are they bringing fucking Greek gods in this shit?
and a dragon. So it's supposed to be some kind of serpent slash dragon thing and some kind of horse slash Pegasus.
So the wolves mean nothing then.
I think the wolves probably are just some kind of branding for like the Galar region.
Gotcha.
More than likely.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, also, which version do you guys think you're going with?
Sword.
Yeah.
Probably
sword.
Unless the legendary in sword is like really lame, I'm picking sword.
So the big difference between the two versions is basically which legendary Pokemon's in it, right? There's not that big a difference.
They usually have.
There's also exclusives to each particular game. Like certain games will have certain Pokemon, while the other game will have these,
and that's
like
just to entice
6
trading and stuff.
Exactly.
For the most part, yeah. I feel like I'm going Shield because I'm just Team Red, but Sword is way cooler, which is interesting because the colors, like, why isn't Sword red and Shield blue? Like, it just seems kind of strange to me. I don't know. I don't know if that's just me misreading things, but I feel like the colors should be swapped.
I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, red is like offensive and blue is like friendly.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. But also, I'm going water type this time around. So I'm a mixed fucking bag of emotions on which version to get. Like, water type, I got to go blue. Sword is cooler, but I'm also more of a fan of red. And, like, the logo actually looks really fucking cool for Shield, the way it's all spiked out and stuff. Man,
yeah. I didn't particularly care for the art for the titles, to be honest. It looks very fan arty to me.
Really? I love them.
Yeah. I'm almost like, honestly, when it comes to designs for the Pokemon games, I'm usually it's got to grow on me kind of thing. Like, I'm not a big. Usually, I'm always super excited about what the possibility of the starters are going to be and what the possibility of the titles and the logos are going to look like. And I'm always usually let down. Like, I didn't care for the designs of the starters. Once again, like, it's just, it feels like they're running out of ideas, like rehashing things along, at least for the starters aspect, because we've already had a monkey. We've had multiple lizards, I'm pretty sure. The bunny feels refreshing just because we've never had that particular animal.
Dude, I've never played Sonic in my life. You're right.
I mean, he's not a hedgehog. He's not blue. Sonic doesn't have a monopoly on going fast.
I have a monopoly on going fast.
That should be his new slogan, man. Fuck.
You just see Sonic in court. It's like, he went fast. That's my thing.
One question they didn't answer that I found interesting. They didn't show the Pokeball Plus anywhere in the trailer or talk about it at all. Do you guys think they're going to incorporate that? Or
I think, if anything, it's just going to be like store a Pokemon in it and take care of it while you're walking around. That's the only thing. You're not going to be able to
You won't be able to play with it?
Yeah.
I think that's really disappointing as a peripheral.
I think the Pokeball Plus will be incorporated into the next Let's Go title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then possibly incorporated more with the actual Pokemon Go game.
So you think there's going to be more Let's Go's as well?
Oh yeah, they're going to go to Johto next, 100%. For sure.
I wasn't confident about that. I don't know. That's interesting.
But yeah, I mean, they're totally doing another Let's Go.
So do you think, okay, when hypothetically they get on this, Heart Gold, or what would they, Let's Go
Togepi or like Let's Go Meryl or something.
Yeah, you don't think
Probably.
it'd be...
That's a safe bet, actually.
I mean, yeah, okay.
I actually made fan-made logos for Pokemon Let's Go Togepi.
I remember that, yeah. I remember that. Do you think there's a chance that we play through that game and at the end we get to go to Kanto?
Yes, I do think so, because there's supposed to be remakes of those games, and you did that in those games, so... I do think.
I don't know. I find that very curious, because they obviously just did Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and then they would jump there, and then you'd already be going back. Interesting stuff. Anything else you guys want to talk about with the Pokemon Shield Sword? Or
I'm actually kind of curious on what the last shot of the athletic wear, where he's like going into the Coliseum, or whatever, wearing like almost like a soccer outfit. Like,
Yeah.
what is that? Is that like, are they revamping the Pokemon League, or is that going to be like some PvP shit? Like,
I actually wouldn't be surprised if that's like a Pokemon soccer minigame.
what?
Like
Pokemon soccer minigame?
yeah, like you play.
That is oddly specific, Dennis.
I mean, it is the
Yeah.
UK, so I guess that does make sense.
Yeah, like
Huh.
you would play. Well,
Football.
I'm gonna say football because that's what it's called. You fucking
Yeah.
assholes.
It's football.
That's like in like Spanish. But yeah, like I think it's gonna be like a football game where you like control your different Pokemon to, and it's like, you know, like Mario Strikers, but like way worse, and you control your Pokemon.
Interesting. I mean, I'm down. Like, Pokemon always does have like goofy mini games, so I mean, I'm in. Cool.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I would take that over the dress up, like, what is it? It's like the ones where you have to be cute and show off your moves and shit.
Yeah.
The competitions. Take that way over that.
I'm curious to see if there's any specific touchscreen type controls like the 3DS. They're losing the ability of the two screens and also like being able to pet your Pokemon, but I wonder if they would even let you do like touchscreen or pointer controls for stuff like that. I'm curious about what they're going to do for that. You don't think so?
It's going to be very traditional.
I actually really enjoyed stupid shit like that, like being able to pet my Litten and feed it beans. That was dope, man.
I think that's coming back. Like being able to pet your Pokemon, that's definitely being there.
So, but what, it's just going to be a button press or what?
I don't know. I mean, in Let's Go, they had like motion controls for it.
That's what I mean. Like, are they going to have where you can either, in handheld mode, you can touch the screen, or you can use, motion controls for the other?
I can see them doing that.
I think that would be awesome. One last thing that I wanted to bring up is the online. Do you guys see them incorporating trading online or battles online? Like, I know
of course
they did with 3DS and stuff.
Online's going to be there.
Absolutely.
I'm just curious how deep it'll be. Like, can you trade with anybody around the world? Or do you have to be in proximity, or how?
You can trade with anybody around the world in the 3DS titles.
Yeah.
Can you? I didn't know that. Interesting.
I think the only complaint
it's actually
going to be that it's limited to Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, that's true. Do you guys see them incorporating any other online features? Maybe multiplayer?
Well, see, that's what I thought with the athletic gear. I feel like there's going to be a revamp for PvP, like something different. You know, like I'm not sure. Anything's. I'm not sure at all. One thing. I don't know. I don't know.
I was wondering because Let's Go incorporated co-op. I didn't know if I feel like they would have showed us that if that was part of the plans, but Let's Go really is weird, man. It changed so many things for the series that when you see this, if Let's Go hadn't happened, I feel like I'd be even more excited, but there's so many things that Let's Go did right to mix up the formula that I was just like, man, I wish that you could see the Pokemon in the overworld. I wish there was, co-op, and like seeing the designs in HD and beautiful glory that we did in Let's Go. It's also like, again, like this doesn't really look much better than that. Like, so it's just, I don't know.
I'm on the other side of that. I don't, as much as I like, it was refreshing seeing the Pokemon in the overworld on Let's Go. It got old. Like you first off, it's too easy to just completely ignore them, and then they're just kind of like just walking around in circles. There's no like. It almost felt it took me out of the game because it made it feel more like just a video game.
To me, yeah, like I can definitely see that, but I wanted to see an evolution of that. Like I wanted to see like different behavior in different Pokemon. Like some Pokemon are more aggressive and they will like hunt you down.
Yeah.
And like some Pokemon are like scared and they will run away, and it'll be a challenge to like catch them.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And I would have loved to seen like more behavior, and like actually, and that would have been cool to like you would be able to like talk to friends and like, oh, you have to do this to catch it or whatever, you know, like that would be an awesome like social thing.
Yep. I don't know. You guys think this is releasing in November, right?
I mean, it's
November.
The same bit.
Like it's like, why didn't they just say it?
Yeah, I don't understand. Like later 2019, it's like that doesn't feel good. Like, are y'all worried y'all might not hit it, or like what's going on there? Why not just come out and say what we already know?
Exactly.
One last thing I wanted to ask about, like, do y'all think there's any shot, like the way the map layout is shown, it looks very linear, but do you think there's any shot that this is more like open world where you can pick what gyms you want to go to versus like you have to go to this gym first, or like, because like in the Pokemon Origin like show, they based difficulty of the gym on how many badges you had. So like when Red goes to Brock's gym, he sees he doesn't have any badges, so he only pulls out 2 Pokemon kind of thing. So like, is there any chance that they incorporate that or less of a linear play style?
I think that would be an awesome change.
I'm looking at the map right
honestly.
now, and unless it's like really open world and like all of this is traversable, I doubt it.
Yeah, when I saw the map, that's what was my biggest disappointment. Was it just looks like you start at the very bottom of the map and you're just working your way up to the top.
Yeah.
Did anybody else find it weird that the dudes in like the snowy region, you still got his like sleeves rolled up? Thought that was kind of.
What do you say?
You kind of cut out there.
Oh, the dude's just in this snowy mountain and he's still got his sleeves like rolled up. I'm like, that's another thing. Character customization. Like, let us put on a jacket. Like,
yeah.
Let weather affect us.
So I'm looking at the map right now, and you're obviously going to start at the bottom of the map here, because that's the introduction shot that we see in the trailer, and I think that's where we're gonna start. And I think that's where we're gonna like walk around, and that's gonna be the tutorial area. And then there's like a cave to the left, and we're gonna go through that, and that's basically like Mount Moon from the original game. Going through there, and then there's like this long bridge. And then we go into like the London city, and I think that's gonna be where the game opens up. And hopefully from there, it's gonna be a little bit more open, because then it looks very freeform and it looks more like a circle in its in the like placement of the different cities. And then there's like the one with the gray tower in the middle, and that it looks like it reaches up to the snowy region. So hopefully like in the middle there it will be a little bit more open and the free form, and maybe you'll be able to tackle different gyms in different orders.
That'd be awesome. I think that would be an amazing change for the game. That would I guess like you were saying, the difficulty would curve depending on how many badges you have. It doesn't seem like that hard to implement. It just depends on like how Dennis is describing the design of the game and stuff. Yeah, I think that'll do, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching. Where can they find you, Dennis?
You can find me on Twitter at Dennis_Lofgren. That's where you can see me rant about things and stuff, you know.
Dude, I like stuff and things. What about you, Ryan? What you want them to plug?
I mean, you can find me mostly on Facebook, and then I have my up and coming YouTube channel that's in the works still at Sweet Tea Trophies.
Sweet Tea Trophies.
Yeah.
Okay. Where can they find you on Facebook?
Ryan Tierney.
Okay. Cool. You can find me at Kerley Studios, Kerley Studios, on YouTube, on Twitter at Kerley Studios. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today talking about them little pocket monsters. This was fun.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited to get my hands on this game, get some more information. But love you guys, and peace out.
Bye.
Later.